Hey everyone, what's going on? Ash here from MEOdyssey. Just a very brief video, just kind of an honest opinions video really, just to put an underlying and a final point on all the stuff that's been going on over the last 5 or 6 weeks or so. This is for N7 Day, GameInformer, and the gameplay stuff that came out just a few days or so ago. But in terms of N7 Day, the main ones we took out of N7 Day was of course the two Andromeda Initiative videos. They were very cool. It was nice to see a bit more on that, but there's still some mysteries there as well. The cinematic trailer, of course, we got to see a few more hints and tips about the story and what's going to be going on when we arrive in Andromeda. I was actually really happy with that. It was very dark, very dramatic, whereas a lot of the other trailers that have come out have been more... Well, the one with Jen Hale was more inspirational, and the others have been more informative, kind of tour guidey kind of videos, so that kind of thing. So it's nice to see the story element of the trailer and to see kind of where we're going to be going, and just to get that little bit more knowledge as to what's going to be happening moving forward. In terms of N7 Day as a whole, it was very tiring. There was a lot of information that came out, mostly on Twitter, so it meant coming through a lot of people's Twitter feeds and dev feeds and things like that. Very tiring. It was a very late one for us. We started at 9 AM and finished probably around about 1 AM going into the following morning. And with the GI stuff, the GameInformer stuff, it kind of carried on for the whole month as well. So yeah, but our favourite thing about N7 Day was actually finding out the voice actors. Obviously we had Tom Taylorson as Scott Ryder, we had Frida Wolf as Sarah Ryder, and we had Clancy Brown as Daddy Ryder there as well. So it was always cool to find out some names to put to the voices. Of course, we had the opportunity to speak to Frida a week or so ago as well. If you haven't seen that video or listened to that video already, I'll leave it at the end there so you can click on that and have a listen if you want to. It was very cool to speak to her. She was very nice, very kind, and we really had fun speaking to her as well. But N7 Day as a whole, very much enjoyed it, enjoyed the trailers that came out, enjoyed the announcements that came out, but it was very tiring as well. Yeah, in terms of the story trailer, we had no real problems with it. We thought it was very cool, very dark, very atmospheric that they're kind of heading towards, and can't wait to see what more comes out of that. Moving on to the GameInformer stuff, just very briefly, not going to touch too much on this. The thing for me was, it was interesting to hear about the Ket and their kind of more informal discussion on that. That was very cool to see. Sorry, more in-depth, not informal. And the kind of the half-hour section of the podcast where two of the guys who went to BioWare got to speak about how the game was and how it was when they played it and what they saw and how cool it was. And it was good to hear an opinion that was based outside of BioWare, or maybe people that are kind of closely tied with BioWare. And yeah, they had pretty much all positive things to say about the game. They like the direction it's going in, they like the things in the Tempest, they like how the multiplayer works, they like how much of the planets you can actually explore and how big the areas are, which is always good. And yeah, so those are kind of the main points we really enjoyed there. A lot of the information was kind of stuff we'd heard before, but there were some really good kind of nuggets of information in there that we could take a fair amount away from. And again, if you want to see those videos, the GameInformer stuff, they won't be at the end, but I'll try and link them in the description below so you can have a look at them, have a bit of a recap for yourself as well. And finally we come to the big one, which is the gameplay at the Game Awards. This was about kind of just under a week ago now, and I'll be honest, I had to stay up until 4:30 in the morning here to stay up and watch that. I made a page and a half of notes. I tried to record, and this was closer to 6 AM, and I kind of passed out at that point. So this one specifically for me was a really, really tiring one for me, so I did not recover from that straight away. It took me a few days to get some sleep and get back onto a normal sleep schedule after having to stay up till 4:30 in the morning. But I know the people had a few concerns about the gameplay, mainly like reused assets, like the mechs look like the ones in Mass Effect 2 and 3. If you've got the assets, why not just modify them a bit and reuse them? You know, games that they make games slightly less costly for themselves to make, so they can put money into other areas of the game. So I don't really mind that too much, and I won't want to mess with them anyway. They kind of just throw you around, it looks like, in the gameplay. A lot of people said it was kind of way too colourful and the palette of colours was strange. I personally didn't have a problem with that. If I'm going to be going to a whole new galaxy and a whole new experience that I've never seen before, then I'm going to be pretty much looking at everything in a sense of wonderment and an amazement that I've never been there, never seen it before. So having a brighter palette of colours really doesn't bother me that much, so I have no real problems there. The only main issue I took from it was a fairly common thing that most people had, which was the facial animations and the voice-to-face sync, which BioWare have already said that they are working on. So this isn't a major problem. If they're already working on it and still working on it, that's fine. But when I initially saw that, I was like, that's a bit off, seems a bit weird, but it seems like they're still working on it. So again, no big issues from me. I enjoyed seeing it overall. It was kind of cool to see a good kind of 4 or 5 minute kind of wodge of gameplay, and very much enjoyed it, to be honest. And it's exciting to see. I know people are going to have their issues with it, but I'm purely taken from my own honest opinion, my own personal experience of seeing it, and I didn't have any major issues with it. I thought everything looked very smooth, very good, and something I'd want to play, so very happy. And finally, there was a mention about some more exclusives coming from IGN in January. This came from a short video with a couple of the BioWare devs doing a voiceover for the gameplay that came out from the Game Awards. Overall, in my honest opinion, the whole experience over the last 5 or 6 weeks, it's been a lot of news. There's been stuff that, about 95% of it I'm happy with. The only thing I have a real issue with still is the story, and mainly the execution of the story, the balance between having that larger element of exploration like in Mass Effect 1, but also trying to keep a tight-knit and kind of well-oiled and very, a story to keep me interested. Trying to keep an equal balance between that is my only worry, but I have confidence that BioWare will be able to do that and hopefully bring forward a very, very good and enjoyable game with a balance between exploration and those who like the story as well. And that's it from me, guys. Thank you very much for listening and for watching. Very short one. We are winding down for videos for the end of the year now, so you'll probably get a nice quiet period from us. No more news videos being thrown in your face, at least not any time for the next couple of weeks or so anyway. We're going to take a little break over Christmas for a week or so. We'll do our end of year podcast, which will be coming up fairly soon. No confirmed dates as to when that's coming out yet. Will be before the end of the year, of course. And then hopefully next year we can move on to bringing you some more stuff. We've been discussing about doing sci-fi stuff in other games and fantasy stuff as well, because Reem obviously likes Dragon Age. I like the Elder Scrolls series, and we both love sci-fi, so it seems to be a natural kind of progression of the channel to move into other sci-fi stuff and fantasy stuff as well. Why not? So we're discussing that at the moment. We'll see if we're going forward. Rima might have a new video on that for you in the new year, so keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, thank you very much for listening and for watching. As always, you can subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things Mass Effect, and you can help the channel to grow by sharing the video too. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again very soon.